Westminster Tuesday morning check-in. I hope you are all doing well and that you're staying home as much as you can possibly stay, and that if you're an essential worker, I'll extend a special welcome to you for keeping us fed and safe and cared for. As always, I'll let you know that we are live here on the Facebook page on Tuesdays at 11 for a quick check-in, Thursdays 7 p.m. for evening prayer, and Sundays at 10 a.m. for prayer and reflection. And following that time on Sunday morning, beginning at 10:30, you can join the Trinity Live live stream over at the Trinity Live website for a shared service that brings in all of the United Churches in the city. Quick reminder to board members, we do have a board meeting this Thursday evening at 7:30 following evening prayer. Your instructions for the Zoom meeting are in your email, so take a look for that. And one final announcement to the Sunday school, and really to anyone else who's interested. If you saw your email, you know that Melissa and Jamie have an activity for you to make a sign thanking essential workers and encouraging people to stay at home to keep us all safe. And then when you've made your sign, put it in your window and let Melissa know. She's given contact information there. And she will come and take a picture of your sign and you so that we can have a slideshow and see how everyone's doing. And it's not just for the children. Anyone who wants to make a sign, just let Melissa know, and she will happily come and take a photo for you. So someone said online recently, we are not all in the same boat, but we are all in the same storm. And I think that's very wise. The storm is COVID-19 and the ease with which people become infected with it. It's changed all of our lives, and it's made necessary the restrictions we now have. And as we said back in March when we suspended worship in our sanctuary, right now love looks like an empty church, or an empty hockey rink, or an empty gym, or an empty school. That is simply the boat. That's the storm we're in. And we keep physical distance from each other, of course, because we care about each other. And that's what we do when we want to make sure one another can stay healthy. So yes, we're in this storm together, but the boats in which we're navigating are quite unique to each particular situation. Now, my partner Peter tells me that in this life of pandemic, this isn't much different for him in terms of how much he's out. A little different, but more or less the same. Now, he's the cook in our house, and we've always had groceries delivered, so again, not much of a change there. Probably more generalized anxiety, but otherwise, not a huge change, except, of course, that I'm home more than I've ever been. Peter hasn't spent this much time with me in years. So far, that's going well, or if it isn't, he's been kind enough not to say otherwise. So that's a bit about our boat. That's where we are. I'm still finding a difficulty balancing work and home and deciding when I'm at home and when I'm at work, but that's coming along too. So I thought this morning I would show you a bit of a demonstration. And it's gratefully borrowed from my friend and colleague, the Reverend Julia Seymour, who's a Lutheran minister in Montana. So this glass of water, as you can see, is fairly full. Not right to the rim, but it's fairly full. But you can see that if I poured a bunch of water in there very quickly, it would overflow. Now, the notion of a cup overflowing is usually in church settings referring to the deep blessing of God causing our hearts to overflow with gratitude. For example, the 23rd Psalm, which we'll read on Sunday, we hear the psalmist say, "Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup overflows." Well, in this case, for our purposes this morning, the overflowing that we're going to talk about is not so much gratitude as it is a visual depiction of our capacity for coping with pandemic. You can see that while the glass is fairly full, there's still room to add more water. Now, there are folks like Peter whose lives haven't changed all that dramatically in this time, and they take the days in their stride. There's some stress there for sure, but they're doing well. I saw a post online this past week from a family who are actually enjoying this time together because their work situations would never have allowed for this kind of intensive togetherness for their family. So that's a boat that's sailing on pretty calm waters, I would say. But again, we're not all in that boat. Now, if I add a bit more water here, the surface tension starts to increase. But it's not overflowing yet. So that might be where you are at this point. You're missing friends and family. Perhaps you're missing the things that were part of your routine, such as a gathering with friends for coffee, or going to the library, or working out at the gym. Not being able to do those things is starting to weigh on you. Or maybe it's all the empty time that you find challenging. There's just too much of it. If you're an extrovert in this time and you normally find your energy is lifted by being around a lot of people, this must be a terribly difficult time for you. Or you might feel like the cup might be ready to overflow at any moment with your constant state of worry. The surface tension of your life is on edge. You have to go to work because your job is essential right now. Every day must come with concern about your health and the health of your friends. If financial struggles are a part of your daily concerns right now, or non-COVID health-related issues, or grief, or any number of difficulties, you might on some days feel like just one thing is going to send your cup overflowing. It's still not overflowing. If you're a parent trying to guide your child or your children through school right now, and trying to live in a whole different way in which your home is your child's school. If you're a student of any age, trying to make your way through this new way of learning and this new way of being at school, but without your friends, it's hard. So if your cup is getting filled with the strain of it all, try to be gentle with yourselves and take time to draw on the sidewalks, make a nice sign for your window, go for a walk, enjoy the sunshine when it's out, so not today. And there may be days yet when it all feels like too much and your stress quotient is off the map and it feels like your boat is tossing in a storm. And one more drop, just one, is all it's going to take. For it to overflow. And that's okay. When those days come, let yourself feel what you feel. Recognize it's a rough day and give yourself every break you can. And know that you're not alone, because we're all in this storm together. Now, do you remember how Jesus calmed the storm for his friends? He fell asleep in the bow of the boat while his friends were freaking out about the waves coming over the side and threatening to throw them into the water. Jesus calmed the storm for them. And maybe he can calm the storm for you, even for just a short while. On those days when the isolation and the restrictions feel like waves coming over the bow, on the days when your cup of stress and worry overflows, I hope you can stop. Be kind to yourself. Take some deep breaths and maybe say a prayer. And I hope when you do, that your cup will overflow again, but this time not with stress, but with that gratitude the psalmist talked about. With the gratitude of a heart filled with the knowledge that God is with you and will never leave you. May you be blessed today, and may your cup overflow with the grace of God. See you back here Thursday, 7 p.m. for evening prayer. Friends, be kind, be compassionate, be safe.